time. What's sad is that I still don't sleep, but like my adrenaline after these races, I just, no, it's a lot. We're live. I mean, no one can hear us yet, but we're about to be. I would have warned you before that if that were the case. Wait until someone goes out and then I'll start that. Round 2 takes us to the Japanese Grand Prix after a wild opening night last week in Australia, where we saw Z46 take home his first SnB win. I'm pretty sure we saw a little bit of everything, but here we are in qualifying for tonight's race. Jordan, how you doing out there?
I'm doing great, Frozen. Really excited to watch this race here. We haven't been to this racetrack in any of our racing leagues in a long time. I think it's been since maybe one of our multi-class leagues back in the Forza days. That would have been, what, 5-6 years ago? So, or yeah, that's a
that's a while. That is a while. I was talking to Dion and I was looking through the stats and I was trying to see who won the last time, and I had nothing. And I asked Dion and he said the same. It's been several years at least, so pretty wild. This was voted on for this season, so here we are, a very challenging track, and I see you, Maddie, out there. Hope you're doing well, but excited to see what these guys can do. Jordan, since you are an experienced driver on here, I know where I struggle at, but as an experienced driver, what are some spots that we need to look out for tonight?
I mean, from what we were hearing about this racetrack in pre-race from the drivers who will be taking part tonight, everywhere is going to be pretty tough on the tires, but some into the track, definitely turn one is a very a deceptive corner because it's a kind of got a double apex to it, and you got to kind of throw it into that first part of it and then be on the brakes while you're kind of cornering as well, so it can be very hard to get the car slowed down and get pace. And then the S's are really fun, but then you head to where the figure 8 of the track overlaps that first part. They call it I think they call it Degna or something. There's Degna 1 and Degna 2. Those are two very difficult corners because the first one is relatively fast, a lot faster than you think it would be. It has gravel on the outside of it, so if you miss it, it will hurt you. And then the second part, really tight. It's a little more forgiving as far as the terrain on the outside, but it's a very easy place to get a penalty. And so those are two difficult places that we're going to see. Also, the hairpin that immediately follows it, very difficult to get the car wound down. We're going to see a lot of brake lockup in that corner. And then from there, the double left-hander after the swooping right-hander that they take. This double left-hand, or this is the, I'm watching Jacob Kerr on his first lap right now. He's going through the hairpin. You go through that sweeping right-hander, and then up here is a double left, and that is also a very easy place to get a penalty because you have to find that right amount of speed. Very easy to both underdrive or overdrive, and they're going to have to manage that all night long, picking their speeds, keeping the car on the racetrack. Very difficult place to do that.
Yeah, we see Kerr in the purple there, so fastest sector so far here tonight, and you see him going through a very difficult portion of the track here right before he comes to the start-finish line, but several spots we are going to have to keep track of, and something that might be trouble for a lot of these drivers, but yeah, I mean, the spoon at the end of the track is going to be an issue for some drivers. I can tell you Some of these kinks were huge for me. The hairpin that we see, I do believe Ferrari Nut going through. Pretty difficult, but we'll see what these guys can do. Z46, winner of last week, he's got a minute 28.7 up there on the board. Jacob Kerr right behind him with a minute 29. Jacob X 99, a minute 30 with Coach Choach Wombat 132.1, and those are the only times currently on the board. We'll see what these other guys can put down, but yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting night. Are we going to see everything that we saw last week with rain and just chaos? I don't know about that, but we'll see. This track is very challenging, very technical. See Ferrari Nut on the board with 128.4, so that will be at the top of the speed charts right there. We just had another driver join, Fire Hamlin, so interesting to see him out here. We'll see how he does. I have not seen him in practice or anything else. Kind of curious how he's going to do. Ferrari Nut, though, top of the board, Z46 in second. Jacob Kerr making his way down pit lane. Jacob X99. He is out there pretty much tied with his teammate. Very, very close in times currently.
They're now the only driver with a timed lap. I think most of these drivers are on their in lap aside from Hokie Fan. He is working his way down to the in chicane here. See how he performs there. Uses the curves. Not really out of control. Comes through. A lot of these drivers I've been noticing, especially with Jacob Kerr, wrapping that final corner, shortening that distance to the start-finish line as much as they can. You saw Hokie there using about the middle of the track. He moves up to the 6th position, second slowest of the drivers who have made a lap so far, but still only very, very close to Jacob X99. The two McLaren drivers and Hokie Fan within about a 1/10 of each other.
Yeah, you can see all the 130s out there. Again, I think we're going to see a nice pack racing with these drivers. It never fails that these guys are always close no matter what track we have them at. I think it'll be definitely a fun one tonight. Fireballs. We see it out there, Polish. I'm not even going to say what he said. And Maddie says, this should be fun. But yeah, I think it will be a fun race. It's one of these races, Jordan, where I'm just glad I'm in the booth and not out there, because I'm pretty sure I'd be a bowling ball, especially through that chicane in Sector 3.
Yeah, this is honestly a track that I think is pretty fun to drive. I mean, this is also a track that that NASCAR's been to back in the day. Ran an exhibition race here, using the short version, not going into the figure 8 part of the racetrack, just using the S's and the front straight. But it's a modestly fun place to drive, to hang out and have some fun going fast in a video game race car. And also, we have an issue, it looks like, with Jacob Kerr. He is spun out on the racetrack, but he's gotten it back going again. 3 drivers pretty close to each other trying to make qualifying laps right now.
Yeah, I think Kerr was just pulling over to let another driver on through, because I watched him just pull over and let the guy go by, and he just continued on. But you see Scarface out there, Fire Hamlin, who is also in a Red Bull tonight. We'll see what these guys can do as teammates. Ferrari Nut, though, he's still holding out that 128.4. Z46 is going to be right behind him, and something new that's going to be happening with this league coming up at Imola. If I can talk, we are going to be taking out full traction control. These guys will have to be on either no traction control or medium. So some of these drivers will have to get used to that, and it'll be interesting because it definitely adds to an aspect of difficulty to this and just level out the playing field a little bit.
Yeah, it puts the lap time, it puts the speed more in the driver's hands rather than, you know, the game settings, and it's a little less of a handhold around the racetrack. Some of our drivers have not been in favor of that decision, but here we are. I personally think it's a solid step, especially with the way it seems to work, the way it affects lap time, the way that the settings do. But watching, we're about to have some close quarters here on the racetrack. Will he get out of the way? No, he does not. Oh wow. Oh, Choach Wombat in the way of Jacob Kerr there during their lap. So a bit of a miscue there, and now Wombat out in the dirt. Wombat, this is his second race with us, still new to the league. Jacob Kerr been a veteran of this series as well as other racing leagues here in SnB. But that was an unfortunate circumstance, and one where you kind of have to learn the etiquette of F1 and how to get out of people's way. That's a very tough job to pull off, but it's just one of those learning things.
Last season, we saw Kerr with 2 wins out there. I should say Jacob Kerr. So he had 2 wins last season. I'm kind of curious what we'll see from him this season. This is his first race with us this season. We did not see him for the opening race. Season 6, 2 seasons ago, he had quite a bit of wins. I do believe he had 3 out there. So he definitely is not shy as far as getting those wins and knowing what he's doing out on track. It's just great to have him back. It's fun to see him out there.
He's also a guy that can be pretty fiery and pretty ornery if he is made mad. So I wonder how he's feeling about how that incident just went down. But it's Z with a 28-2 moves to the top of the running order, and I'm kind of wondering if maybe you're going to have to run a 27 to sit on the pole for this race, because the times are slowly ticking down, and we know the speeds pick up as the timer goes down, and we only have 6 minutes and about 40 seconds left in qualifying.
Yeah, where did the time go? I mean, just over 6 minutes, and you have quite a few minutes out here. All right, these two are just going to keep switching with times, but take a look at that, a 2:13 and a 2:65 for Z46. So extremely close here. He's going to let Jacob Kerr on by, and hopefully Jacob can improve his lap time. I know he's had a couple of incidents out there running with people who are not, on the same speed, so it definitely slows you up out there. Leaf Justin, a 129.5. Jacob is a 129.5 also, so these teammates very close in time.
Yeah, the McLaren seem to have brought the same equipment to the racetrack today, as they are very, very close together. Hokie fan puts a lap down. He puts a 30.1, I believe that was his last lap, or maybe he is running a lap. I don't know. But either way, he is off and running through the S's. The teammate of Jacob Kerr. A lot of drivers out there. Only Scarface 3D is on his out lap. Some are on their in laps, but a lot of drivers out on the racetrack. I think only 2 currently on pit road, as the Red Bull makes it 3.
Choach Wombat at 132, and Dion.
Williams, excuse me.
Dion, no time yet, still in the pits, along with Sober David, who I know he's got such a huge time difference. He said it'll be very close if he's able to make it. Obviously, he's here, but I'm kind of curious how he's going to feel about tonight. We haven't been here in several seasons, and I know it is pretty difficult out here, but Jacob Kerr, a 128.6, so these guys getting extremely close out here in time, and Justin and Jacob a 129. I think this could be a pretty close race. I don't know that we've seen times this close in a while.
Yeah, and that's with about a half a lap extra on his tires, so that's a pretty solid lap from Kerr, but still a half a second almost off of Ferrari Nut and Z. Those two super close together.
Watching Jacob go through this corner here. I feel like this track is extra long. I don't know. It's just so technical, and
yes,
it feels very long. I remember my first lap through it, and I was thinking, when is this track gonna end? Where's the start finish line? So definitely you have to take your time through it. Make sure you nail everything. If you do not get those exits just right, it is going to cost you a lot of times down the straightaways, what few there are. But I see Z46, he has left the session. Hopefully we can get him back in here. Another thing we talked about last week, Polish, his disconnect that we saw. Man, just such a wild opening race. We had rain, we had disconnects, we had cars wrecked out, we had a new winner. I think anything that could happen, it did.
Yeah, it was wild. We had the rain. There's just so much that went on with that race. There's a lot of bumping and banging. Looked a little bit like a stock car race at Martinsville rather than a F1 race. It was a lot of fun to watch. A lot of wild happenings, and we'll see. I mean, depends on the weather. We don't know what the weather is going to be. These guys can see. They have a little bit of a window into what the weather's supposed to be in the various screens they see on pit road. But we have no clue, and we will be surprised by what these guys end up putting down.
Yeah, David usually helps out with the weather forecast for us. But Real, how are you? Hope you're doing well out there. Fireball Hamlin says, is normal track limits on? He's saying his lap could have been invalid or he got away with it. It is usually strict, so apparently he just got away with that one.
Yeah, and a lot of times you can get away with a little bit of an overstep if you manipulate the throttle, the steer, whatever. You can make the stewards turn a blind eye to the mistakes you make out on the racetrack if you are so able to.
Real, I see ya. I hope you're doing well again. David says predicted to be dry, so it should not be. Oh, man, I'll tell you what. That kind of scared me there. Ferrari Nut just went through a car, ghosted out there, so at least he was ghosted. But man, that kind of scared me.
Yeah, that I've seen this glitch before. This glitch happened to me last season. Yeah, there's a car stopped on the racetrack. You can't do anything about it. It is ghosted, but it just sits there and wiggles back and forth and looks like he's trying to go somewhere, but he can't. This actually happened to me. The situation that Z is in, and it's very unfortunate because he cannot make a lap. He's just stuck there.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to be Z46. We saw him get disconnected from the session. I don't even know if he's back in the session, but we have a couple of drivers that are, in fact, going through his car there. So it's got to be a surprise for the driver and very frustrating for Z. Jacob Kerr still out there, has not improved his time just yet, but we have under a minute and then a couple more minutes to get these drivers finished up on their lap. We'll see if we have any other improvements, but Ferrari Nut, it looks like he might be keeping pole tonight there, Jordan.
Yeah, with Z unable to make a lap, Ferrari Nut improves his time by about a quarter of a tenth, able to get into the ones, or about a third of a tenth, I should say. Yeah, able to get into the ones. We're not going to see the 27. I was thinking we might, but still. And again, this is going to take a lot of concentration to make it through those S's with that ghosted car sitting there on the racetrack. Again, nothing Z can do about it. Just a glitch in the game that does happen, and these drivers are all going to have to figure out a way to keep cool, keep online, and make good lap time here as qualifying is winding down.
Sure is. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to keep that concentration, and it's right in that line, which is pretty wild. But David said as Z's car, it glitched when he disconnected. Game says he has pitted. He definitely pitted right on the track there.
I think Kerr had a best in the second sector, able to get to a 3. Really nice lap time out of him. Again, I'm pretty sure he was the fastest in sector 2, but it wasn't quite enough to be able to supplant Z on the front row. Still, he's going to start on the inside of row 2. Meanwhile, or on the inside of row 2, and looks like he's going to have over a second of a gap. So again, kind of what, like you alluded to earlier, we're going to see some definite pockets of drivers forming here, where where we have kind of our I hate to use talent because it kind of degrades other drivers, but still, yeah, we're going to have groups. We have our 3 fast, and then we're going to have a next group of speed. You can see Leaf Justin to Fireball Hamlin, about a half a second between them. Actually, Hokie fan too, add him in that mix, so there's 6 of them there on top of each other.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be close. And like I said, this happens every race. We have different packs racing. We have that front group and a whole slew of drivers right after that. And here we go. Ferrari Nut is going to be on pole with a 128.172. Z46 in second. Jacob Kerr in third. In fourth, we're going to have Jacob X99. Fifth is going to be Leaf Justin 24.
Scarface 3D in the Red Bull in sixth. His teammate Fire Hamlin in seventh. Pokey Fan, the other Mercedes driver, in eighth. Choach Wombat, the rookie in the Aston Martin, will be ninth. Dion Fordub opted not to make a lap. He will be in the Ferrari in 10th, as well as Sober David in the Haas, who opted not to make a lap. And that is the field tonight. 11 drivers here at Suzuka in the SnB F1 League.
Well, I don't know if you saw what I saw, but a lot of drivers have left this lobby. I don't know if they're running into trouble with being able to get back in, but I have a feeling that we're going to have to be setting up a new lobby. I saw Dion left, and they were migrating hosts. Leave it to F1. It's always got a few glitches out there, and here we are. I wouldn't be surprised if half this lobby is gone, so we'll have to try to get these drivers back out there and get in a new lobby if that's the case.
And the underrated part of that is if we get a new lobby, that means we are going to get a new randomization of the weather. So it's looking
well, that's true.
Quite sunny out there right now. We're going to see what these drivers get when we load into a new lobby, if that is in fact what is about to happen. And,
I think it is.
Alluded to, everyone is leaving this session, I believe.
He said his car broke, and David said new lobby from the sound of things. So we'll be on standby to try to wait for a new lobby as it keeps migrating that host. Stack IC out there, hopefully you're doing well. And Maddie says, gotta love EA. I'll tell you what, every season I feel like this game gets more glitchier. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is what it is, it's yeah. I mean, there's always going to be issues with video games, it's just the way it is, but yeah, it's been tough the last few years with the new EA banner, but I mean, hey, it is what it is.
That is true. We're out to the main menu, just going to wait for that invite. But you guys saw the drivers out there. Who do you think is going to win? We had Ferrari Nut on the pole. Hopefully, I don't know, can they put in the qualifying order to start the race? Or I guess they could just line up? Okay. Yeah, I would assume that's what we're going to do.
I think you can put in a custom... I mean, I might be wrong on that, but I think this game has that feature where you can put in a custom starting lineup.
Yeah. Do you need an invite?
I do need an invite, yes.
There is one for you, good sir.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, good ma'am.
I don't know if they're going to hold it. I have no idea. We'll see what happens here. Hopefully we can get everybody in. I think we still have a few. Yeah. Scarface, Jacob needs in.
And this is always one of those things that kind of unsettles drivers. It's kind of like a rain delay in real life. We have these races where like the lobby kind of either crashes like 1 or 2 laps in, or half the field gets kicked, and we have to make a decision whether to restart it or not. And usually when that restart does happen, whether it's because of a lobby crashing or whatever, the new race does not go how it would have gone previously, and it's usually pretty crazy, the racing we see. So I wonder if that will hold serve tonight.
It'll be interesting to see. We do have 27 laps here. You can see it on the left. Practice, we should not have to do the practice or qualifying that has as off. So he should just be able to put the order in. And I do believe Polish he says he's down the road from his house. So he'll be running to try to get in, probably starting in the back of the field. But he will be in there trying to race his way through. And we'll see what we can do. Can you see settings? Let's see. Oh, no, that goes to everything. All right. I'm trying to see what our schedule is going to be like. Go to next week. Yeah, next week we're gonna have Bahrain, so that should be a fun one. How do you feel about that, Jordan?
Bahrain is an interesting. Bahrain is a track I've never been good at, and mostly I'm slow in the weird, like hard-braking left-hand hairpin that comes immediately after a kink, right before the third DRS zone. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's one of my least favorite corners in all of video game turns ever. Like right next to the hairpin or not the hairpin, the like bus stop at Monaco out of the tunnel. That's the dumbest freaking corner on the planet. But Bahrain's left-hand hairpin is pretty ridiculous because it's off. You're taking a left-hand kink, and so you're turning and having to get on the brake. It's real easy to lock up the tires. Plus, there's a curb on the right side that you're wanting to use to maximize the track you're using to make the corner in to get lap time. But it's also kind of a big curb, so it upsets the car. It's not fun. A lot of the track is okay, but it's Bahrain on the whole is not my cup of tea.
All right, well, we got 15 rounds total this season, and I know Saudi Arabia is going to be for round 4, and I personally love that track. I think it's a lot of fun, so I can't wait to see it. And then round 5 on April 17th will be at Miami, so that will be another fun one. And Fireball Hamlin is saying that he needs an invite. What? He says he's not even in the game. Weren't you in the qualifying? I thought. Hopefully he didn't get kicked out, but we're going to be trying to get him back in also. So much going on already. This season has started off with a bang here on 2024.
Yeah, weirdness to end last week's race, and then weirdness before this one even starts. Looks like we're going to have to deal with the wild, weird, and woolly regardless of the circumstance here in the SnB F1 League.
Fireball, I'm trying to get you in, but I do not see you in the party, unfortunately. Polish says 1 minute, so he will be here very quickly. And then we just need Fireball. All right, so this lobby has grown a little bit at least, so that's good news. Probably not, still should be starting on pole, though. He says, Polish Hammer, when he gets in here, he can get him in. What is your favorite track on this game?
Oh, on this, Zandvoort. Zandvoort is
really
definitely my favorite F1 track. I love Circuit of the Americas as well. I really enjoy driving Circuit of the Americas in various games and cars and vehicles, but I absolutely love Zandvoort. Zandvoort is fun. It's fast. It flows well. It has the crazy Bristol corner that it didn't. I like it a little more on iRacing just because it acts like it should, and it's got the variable banking, and you want to run like up against the wall and try to get back on track before the grass starts, and it's a lot of fun to drive. Here on the F1 game, you run more the bottom just because I don't think this game gives it the banking, the same type of banking, but Yeah, I love Zandvoort. Zandvoort is a blast.
Fair enough. And then what would be your least favorite?
I mean, Monaco is stupid. People, look, I hate to insult our audience. I do. But
Wow.
people who say Monaco is my favorite track are tryhards, and that's just the way it is. I mean,
Oh.
Monaco is a hot lap track for to enjoy and test drive, and it's a tough track and it's fun to challenge yourself. But as a racetrack, it is absolutely horrid and terrible in F1 cars.
All right. You were not shy on the comments of that track. That's pretty funny, I gotta say.
I mean, look, it's a great test drive track because of how challenging it is, but it is just it's it you put an extra car out there and it's terrible. It's just not an enjoyable
Yeah,
experience.
that's fair enough. Fair enough. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. We're trying to get Polish in. We're waiting for him and Fireball Hamlin. I don't know where Fireball started at, but I know Polish will be in the back for Arena. Should be out front. I would assume Dion was able to get the order in, and as soon as we get Polish in here, we'll be on our way to the race for 27 laps. I'm kind of curious if the weather has changed, but the last race would have been fine. No rain whatsoever. I would assume it's going to stay the same. That's what I'm going to say. You started 7th. All right. Fireball Hamlin started 7th. So hopefully we can get him in here.
It looks like looks like we're not, but we'll leave that up to our league owner Dion how that works out. But
Yeah.
right now, looks like the only driver. Okay, at least Justin has gotten into his car. It looks like we're getting really close to firing into this lobby. I'm assuming it's going to be ordered in the correct order, and yeah, we're gonna go green, or as they I guess are supposed to say, it's gonna be lights out here in a minute.
Now, you know what I say. Turn 1, lap 1 is always a little scary, a little chaotic. Knowing that we immediately go into the S's, what do you think that's going to be like? Are we going to have a little bit of chaos, maybe a lost wing or two, or do you think these drivers will be able to handle it?
Well, I think by the S's we'll be modestly single file. It's those first 2 corners, because that first turn, you have to swing it in there pretty hard. I mean, it's not a very tight corner. It has, I think, a little bit of banking to it, and it's more of a kink than an actual corner. But then immediately after is a much harder right that you have to slow down for. Again, you're coming off of a corner, so you have to work to get the wheels straight to keep the tires from locking up. It's very, very difficult to make that corner with speed, hold your line, especially if you're on the bottom. I mean, some of these guys might go in there 3 wide. We're going to have to see how aggressive they are on the start. But I think by the time we actually get to the S's, the field will be somewhat sorted out before we get to Degna's 1 and 2. And then I think that's another place where we could see some carnage, someone going for a dive, someone desperate not to lose track position. I think the S's, aside from someone making a mistake and running off track themselves, will be tame in comparison.
That's fair. Absolutely. And Lumi says, while we're here asking Jordan questions, ask Jordan his thoughts on his Red Raiders tonight while we were passing time.
Well, I mean, they played 2 very different games in the to start off the tournament. You know, in the round of 64, they set an NCAA tournament record for 3-pointers attempted, and then in the second game against Xavier, they I think they outscored them in the paint like 4 or 5 to 1. So they can win in multiple ways, which is what you like to see. They have the Big 12 Player of the Year in JT Toppin. I'm excited to watch it if I get to, which I kind of hope I do, and I think I will. I had a scheduled football game tonight, but I think I might have to cancel that one so I can watch my boys play. But I'm excited for the game. I think it's a team that could go all the way, but I mean, we got a long road ahead, and Arkansas has a legendary coach and you know, a really good team as well. So hopefully it's a fun night, and you know, hopefully we can go to the Elite Eight. And that is college basketball talk here on SnB's F1 race.
Absolutely. And Bloomy, shouldn't you be out there? I'm pretty sure you should. But the countdown has started. I don't see Fireball Hamlin, so this is very interesting. But Maddie says dance break while we wait. But here we go. Out to track is going to be for 27 laps. We will get these guys in their formation lap and ready to roll. They said you're banned. Well, that
well
changed. Okay.
All right, so
that escalated.
This is gonna be when they load in, they're gonna have to get their that's gonna be something to watch for. I'm sure they're gonna be yelling at each other in the party not to immediately press A or to wait to input your strategies. And there's some cloud cover out there this time.
Yeah.
It's nice and hazy.
Okay.
But these drivers are going to have to get their setups in. I imagine they're going to have a gentleman's agreement that they're going to give each other time to do so, because as soon as one person puts their setup in, that starts a timer that everyone else has to meet. And one thing about this, everyone's going to have a full suite of tires now. They're going to have, because they're not going to have any of those used tires from qualifying. They're all going to be nice and fresh. So that's going to be a little bit different from what we would have seen from the previous session. I don't know if that would make any difference at all. We'd have to have an absolute wreck fest for that to happen, that to, you know, matter. But hey, it's a little wrinkle that could potentially be seen.
Now we do have some haze, some cloud cover. Do you think that's going to allow for a little bit more grip? Of course, we're going to be starting on cold tires, so that will be an issue, but that's nothing new. But with this perhaps colder weather, is that going to help out with grip?
It can definitely race speeds with the cooler racetrack. Of course, if the track starts getting wet, then that's definitely gonna not help the grip. But everyone's starting on medium, so there's gonna be at least a little bit of time before, or at least our leaders. I don't know about everyone, but let's see.
One driver on hards.
I think it could help. Yep, I think it'll help the overall speed, which could make things, you know, more dangerous. Could make these drivers a little more you know, aggressive, a little more confident in their decisions when maybe they shouldn't be. We'll see. I don't know, but we'll find out together.
We will find out together. And another interesting aspect: how is Polish going to do? He just got home, just got out on track. How is he going to fare, as he is just going in with no practice right before the race? That'll be an interesting factor. He was extremely strong in the last round last week, so very interesting to see. But it looks like Dion was able to get that order in, and we see Ferrari out front, Z46 behind him. Jacob will be out there on the second row with Jacob X99 in fourth, Justin in fifth, Scarface sixth, and the order continues on as these guys are coming around, getting ready to line up on grid. This is one of the kinks we were talking about. I'll tell you what, I cannot tell you how many times I missed that corner.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough place. It can be kind of line you're going slow, so there's not really a lot of downforce helping the car turn. So it's pretty much just all steering input and having to wrangle the thing without losing it. It can be a very difficult place to try to make a corner. I'm going to be very interested to watch how Polish Hammer begins this race, if he's going to be aggressive trying to work his way through the field. But here they are. Looks like Silver David getting his tires warm. He's going to file into his spot, and we're going to be ready to go.
We're going to be ready to go. We're just waiting for those lights to come on and get this race started. Here we go. Drivers lined up, thinking about what kind of race we're going to have, and the lights are out already. off to a good start. We're going to go into this first right-hander. They're going to be single file for this first several drivers. As you said, these guys already just trying to go single file, and that's already going to happen as we head into the S's.
Yeah, very long delay on the light there. Looked like
that was weird.
Off guard, but he was able to hold on to that position. Z not able to take advantage, and yeah, everybody single file already. Now we're going to head down to two of the hardest corners on the racetrack. Degna's 1 and 2, as the tryhards would say, or I guess that's actually their name. So
it is their name.
Smart people would call. Now they head down into the hairpin, and yeah, a little bit of lockup we're seeing from some of these drivers, but otherwise, very, very smooth start to this race.
Jungle, I see you out there. He says, why are we talking about kinks on stream? I know, but you know, there is actual kinks on here, but Polish Hammer. Polish Hammer all the way up to P5. Absolutely insane. So I would say he was pretty aggressive getting around the drivers. Had no issue making his way through. He's going to have Jacob up ahead, and you can see it, single file line. He is only not even a second behind Jordan. So it's going to be pretty close. He's going to have plenty of time, and Jacob already going through that cone there.
Yeah, Polish Hammer up 6 spots already. Leaf Justin has lost 2. A kind of seems to be a thing going back to the practice race that Justin has a rough start to the race and has to play catch up. He's did a great job of it in Australia. We'll see if he's able to rebound from a little bit of a slow start here tonight. But yeah, Ferrari Nut continues to lead over Z and Jacob Kerr. They're trying to put a gap on the rest of the field as they work through the S's.
Coming around this left-hander here. Another tricky part of the track. At this corner, you can see how it is so easy to overdrive that, using the curbs quite a bit. Savage, I see you out there in chat. Hope you're doing well. And we're going to come around this hairpin corner, another spot the drivers were concerned about. But man, I'll tell you what, this track is just very, very technical. You have to be on it at all times. And to do this for 27 laps, you have to do every part of this track correctly 27 times. That's a lot to ask. These cars, if you hit those wings, you're going to take on damage, and it's going to be absolutely brutal to drive.
Polish Hammer making a move on Jacob. He's been behind him for about the entirety of the lap. They work their side by side through the kink. Jacob plays chicken with him through there and is able to hold on to that position. So some excellent defending from Jacob X99 over Polish Hammer, who on the first lap knifed through the majority of his field, but has been stuck behind the McLaren ever since. Now he's going to make that pass into turn 1.
It's that pass, sending it really nicely into that corner. Jacob going to fall back just a little bit. Z46 with the fastest lap on that last lap that we completed. We are currently lap 3 of 27. The clouds are still out, hopefully giving these drivers a bit more grip. But Polish is up to P4. Jacob Kerr still holding on to that 3rd spot right behind the front 2. So these top 3 drivers, no surprise here, as we saw in practice, times were close there, and they are definitely close in this race.
Yeah, a little bit of lockup out of Ferrari Nut. He seems to be using a little bit more racetrack on corner exit than Z. Z looking a little bit less, I guess desperate would be a way to describe it, to make lap time. But Ferrari Nut using a lot of the racetrack early on in this race, but he is using it to his advantage, adding to that gap just a little bit. I believe DRS will be enabled perhaps next lap. It doesn't seem to be this lap, so we're going to see when that happens. Either way, Z staying within that DRS range, as well as Jacob Kerr. So these 3 going to be on top of each other when that begins.
Here we go on the front stretch, past the start-finish line. Ferrari Nut, a minute 31 for the fastest lap for Kick Sauber. Going really well around this corner into the S's. Z just putting the pressure on not Polish, but Ferrari Nut. So these guys extremely close, and Kerr, he's still hanging out there. Polish Hammer about 3 seconds behind. These guys starting to get a little spread out, Jordan.
Yeah, our drivers are starting to get a little bit spread out. Jacob still holding on to Polish, not letting him quite get away, but he's about to be out of range. Sober David has hit pit road, so some issues for him early on in this race. Also, Leaf Justin has fallen all the way back to ninth. Some issues for him. A lot of lockup out of Ferrari Nut 94 as he heads
Yeah.
through the hairpin, and yeah, that's got to be murder on those tires as Z continues to try to put the pressure on.
You know, we've talked about Ferrari Nut and how he does use those brakes really hard. Man, contact between the two. He got the curb, got loose, and the two made contact. And Ferrari Nut, we keep talking about him using those brakes, but man, you can see just really checking up, and you can see that smoke coming out his rear back of the car there. But man, really woes it down. Z just absolutely sending it into these corners.
Makes this track so tough is there's a lot of corners that require full commitment. Ferrari was fully committed to that first left-hander, but not able to keep it completely on the racetrack. And as we watched, got loose, almost took the front wing off of ZZ. Meanwhile, able to use that momentum all the way back around the racetrack, make the pass on the front stretch, and now he is leading this race as they go through the S's.
I feel like we've seen a lot of wild races from Ferrari Nut where he starts off in the lead or around the lead, something catastrophic happens to him, and he has to go to the back and try to make his way up through the field. I'm curious, are we going to see that again tonight? I feel like that was an issue last season. We saw it last race, and you can just see him really check up there once again. But I saw Dion, he got a 10-second lap penalty. No good for the start of this race.
Yeah, a tough start for both him and Sober David, as they have both fallen off of the main pack. Dion, as you mentioned, the added 10-second penalty for speeding on pit lane, as this race for the lead continues to be very hot. As Ferrari not letting Z get away. He's gonna try to look to the outside as Z defends. They head through the kink, the little chicane, whatever you want to call it. Z able to maintain the lead, has a great run through there actually. We'll see what Ferrari is able to do here on the front stretch. Uses the slipstream, uses the DRS. He's able to get to the inside, makes that pass. So move Ferrari back to the lead.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be the last time we see these guys go back and forth for the lead here. We've seen it multiple times on that straight, right past the start-finish line as they use that DRS zone. But Jacob Kerr taking full advantage of these guys battling back and forth. You can see on board, he is still right there with him, and I think he's going to be in the mix trying to go for positions. But take a look at how these guys are using these curbs. You really have to practice with that. Know which curbs you can take advantage of and which you have to stay away from. There are several that if you do make contact with them, it will spin your car around.
Just riding on board with these guys, you can really tell how much commitment they have. I'm on board with Z at the moment. Really has to swing it in that left-hander and keep it off of that curb, or keep from going too far over the curb. Once again, using as much of the curb as he can before hitting the white turtles. This place is a lot of fun to drive when you get it right. When you get it wrong, it really, really hurts.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple of drivers and they're saying that if you do get it wrong, it definitely punishes you and is extremely hard to come back from. It's just very technical. You do have to nail each and every corner. And we've talked about the curbs. There's so many different spots on here that you can just lose time to, and you cannot afford to do so in these long races like this. Lap 7 of 27, so we do have a few laps under our belt. The sky is still cloudy, still hazy. Do you think we're going to see any clearing out here?
I don't know. That's all up to the weather gods.
The weatherman, yeah?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out, but Z working really hard. He's watching Ferrari get away. Oh, Ferrari
I saw that. Yeah.
Loose. But Z's been pushing it really hard, trying to stay with Ferrari. Ferrari also seems to be pushing it really hard to try to run away, and so far, neither driver has been able to accomplish that goal. Meanwhile, Jacob Kerr still in the third position as he is trying to stay with these guys, stay in DRS range so that he can ride the train with them and stay with them in case they are able to make a mistake or in case his tires come in and he's done a little better job saving and he is able to make a pass and make some moves. But we're getting close to about the halfway point, and with these drivers on the mediums, it's going to be a little bit short of that. I imagine around lap 10 or 11 or so is when we're going to have these guys start thinking about pit stops, maybe lap 12. But yeah, we're getting close to these guys coming in and switching to the hards.
On board with Polish Hammer, Z is going to take the lead once again on that front stretch, but you can see Polish Hammer, he's got his eyes on them, losing a little bit of time out here. I'm impressed with how much he was able to catch up already and make his way through the field. He did not wait at all, just went through the field, lap one, probably turn one more than likely. But these guys just doing a phenomenal job. You see Jacob in 5th, Scarface in 6th, so a great run for these two. Pokey Fan out there in 7th, about 4 seconds behind, and Justin with a rough start, currently sitting P8. Choach Wombat out there just less than a second behind Justin. Dion, he's out there P10th, and Sober David, not a great start. We saw him pit earlier. Hopefully we can get him up a few more positions as we see Jacob Kerr has left the session. Hopefully we can get him back in.
Oh, we see with a time penalty as Ferrari made the pass for the lead. So disastrous set of corners there for Z. We're going to see that. I think we're going to see a hefty amount of penalties. It's so easy to overdrive this track. There's so many places to overdrive this track. I don't think that's the last penalty. We see some contact between Z and Ferrari not using that front wing like it's a chrome horn. We'll have to see if there's any damage to that machine.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can see something here, but here we go. Z going for the lead once again. These guys just switching positions every single lap here, but man, wild happenings. I don't know that we've seen Kerr back. Okay, as soon as I say that, he has joined back in the lobby. Great news for him, but he has lost so much time, Jordan. It's going to take a lot to try to make that back up.
Yeah, that Kansas internet, now he's going to have to deal with Polish Hammer, who's going to be catching his AI car quickly. Meanwhile, Ferrari in a very ambitious place, attempting a pass. Those two make some slight contact, but they're able to pull it off. And we've seen this going back to last race. These drivers at the front not afraid at all to use their cars to make some room for themselves, and so far no one has really suffered the consequences of it. These cars have been very durable on this game, and surely that's going to end at some point. Surely we're going to see some contact that results in some lost wings, some lost end plates, something. We're going to see if Ferrari tries to make a lunge here, or if he's going to be patient and wait for the kink or the chicane, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know that these two have patience. I think they're just having a heck of a lot of fun and just going for what they can. And when we talked about some contact, that will not be the first or last time, but yeah, knock on wood that these guys do not receive a lot of damage to those wings or anything else. But man, so tough. And Jacob has retired from the session. DNF for him for his first race out here this season. Polish Hammer going to take over that third spot. He's going to be about 3 seconds behind. I'm not sure what happened to Jacob, but man, tough news for him.
Yeah, not sure if maybe he entered the row. Oh God, we can't talk about anything else.
I know.
Yeah,
more contact.
Sure, maybe it's Ferrari's having a really hard time entering the corners because he has a several thousand-pound racing car hitting him in the rear end every time he tries to get into the corner. But yeah, it's not sure if when Jacob re-entered the race, he is back, but the vehicle has officially DNF'd, so that's going to be very unfortunate for him.
That is very unfortunate. Knowing that he came back, you know, he was obviously was unsure that his car did DNF, but here we are. But these two, Ferrari Nut and Z, I tell you, totally different braking zones going into these corners, and it's causing a little bit of mayhem for these drivers. Ferrari really checking it up, and Z driving it in extremely hard. We're going to see Ferrari Nut go into pit lane. Z is going to take over that lead and stays out.
Yeah, smooth entry there for Ferrari Nut.
Absolutely.
Pit road, likely put the hards on, make his one stop of the race. Now it'll be up to Z. He's got to have a really good in-lap. Don't know if he's going to try to pit here or not. We're going to find out. But as you see, Jacob Kerr has left the session, I believe, with his car officially DNF. There's nothing more he can do. So very unfortunate for a driver that we had a lot of hope for making his debut on the season. Again, a veteran of this series, a veteran of shake and bake leagues with us on various games. Really unfortunate to see that happen to him. But meanwhile, Z working really hard to put the best lap down he can here. I get the feeling he is going to come to pit road. He is doing everything he can so that he comes out of pit road in front of Ferrari Nut.
Yeah, Williams' car is currently 1-2, but I have a feeling, as you said, Z will be going in shortly. Ferrari Nut, he is out there on hard tires. We do have a safety car, and it does involve Dion, who has a DNF also. So we have lost two drivers. So unfortunate tonight. He did have a 10-second time penalty. Z also has a penalty. I do believe it is 3 seconds. Yeah, this is going to shake things up a little bit.
Everyone's still driving really hard, even though we see the safety car. Not sure if, okay, now maybe eventually they're going to
Dion,
but that was it.
Yeah.
That was in a place that we saw Ferrari Nut. We've seen several drivers get loose there where Dion lost it. So a difficult part of the racetrack, and imagine he just grabbed a curb and looped her around and hit a wall and a tire popped off, and that's the end of his day.
Several drivers making their way on down. I would assume pretty much everybody, and yeah, everyone that I'm seeing except for Ferrari Nut has made their way in. He stays out as he had just gotten done pitting. Justin, it looks like he is not yet there, but I have a feeling we might see him come in. We'll see what happens. But Kay, I see you out there. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the race.
That was a big break for Z that safety car came out as the driver was having to adhere to the delta. He was able to pit while the rest of the field going much slower than they were when Ferrari had to pit. So very easy job staying out ahead of the kick driver. So a solid or lucky strategy, I should say, for Z with the timing of that caution. He will have the track position, but we've seen that didn't really matter the way they were swapping the lead back and forth. Now we get, likely we're going to have 12 or so laps of that to end this race.
I believe so, and this is exactly what Polish needed to see. Allows him to catch back up. He's got fresh tires, so he will be right in the mix of these other two drivers. One is going to be his teammate, and this is exactly the battle that we saw last week. It was between Z, Ferrari Nut, and Polish Hammer. Another exciting race for these three, but man, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys restart. We have Jacob and Leaf Justin 4th and 5th. Again, teammates out there. It seems to be that these drivers are going to be extremely close. Scarface in 6th, Hokey Fan 7th, Wombat 8th, and Sober David 9th. The other two drivers, D and F for this race.
Dion going to score a point as he is locked into the 10th position tonight. Interesting note, neither Leaf Justin nor Wombat have changed their tires yet, which is a very interesting strategy. I'm not sure if maybe they will come in here. No, he is opting to stay out, so not sure what the plan is. We see Wombat come to pit road. He is going to put his hard tires on to end this race, but I'm not sure why the other McLaren has decided to try to no stop this. He's likely going to have to pit pretty quick. maybe trying to go a little bit deeper and put some softs on, maybe hoping for another safety car. With as hard as our leaders have been racing, it's very possible. And now with Polish Hammer on the scene, he is likely going to have pace equal to them. I mean, we saw that with Jacob Kerr. He was up there with them as well, and Polish was on par with him. So I imagine this is going to be a really tough fight for the lead. I guess Leaf Justin is anticipating a potential caution here.
Yeah, definite risky move for that McLaren out there, Leaf Justin. I'm a little concerned for him, but I think, as you said, he's just hoping for another safety car, perhaps, where he can go in and get those fresh tires. But having not gone in yet, man, I have a feeling that he's going to lose a couple of spots out here as these other drivers, they are on fresh tires. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this turns out for him. We'll see if we go back to racing this time around. They're going to be coming around the spoon portion just coming up here and making their way around in Sector 3. I don't see any of those clouds clearing. I thought I saw sun for a couple laps. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be staying this way for quite a while. But Z46... he's going to have the lead coming back to green here. Ferrari nut just all over trying to warm up those tires. For a second, I thought he wrecked.
Wow, it looks like they're going to have to go another lap here. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, the field is all bunched up. It's all together. As honestly giving David a chance to get his... I don't know if he was a lap back or not. I guess it's just giving him a chance to catch up. The game reading him is... as what needs to happen, him catching the rest of the field for the safety car to decide to pull off. I imagine it will definitely happen this lap. So we will have 13 to go when we take the green flag. And again, we're going to have a heck of a battle for the lead here between Z, Ferrari Nut, and Polish Hammer. And we'll see what Jacob and Leaf Justin can do. Again, Justin on a bit of an alternate strategy. Jacob was able to hold off Polish Hammer for a little bit, so he definitely has pace in that McLaren. We'll see if he can go on the offense. We've seen him be able to manage defense. What does he have for offense here when we get going back at speed?
Yeah, a couple of different tire strategies out there, but we will have to keep our eye on Leaf Justin. I'm thinking that we should go back this time. Back to racing. I'm surprised we didn't last time, but I know David definitely appreciates the extra lap to catch up. We'll see Wombat. We saw a nice run from him last week. I know Ron Swanson, I thought we saw him, or Drizzo, one of those two, had another nice run, but ran into trouble later on in the race. Unfortunately, we do not see him out there this week, but Z46 coming off of a win last week, great momentum for him moving forward, and he's looking strong so far here tonight, which is really fun to see.
But again, he has that time penalty, so the safety car, a little bit of a double-edged sword. It lets him, it gave him that opportunity to for sure have track position over Ferrari Nut with the way the pit stop cycled out, but he has that time penalty. The entire field is now on his rear end, and he'll have to make some really good lap time here if he wants to win this race and even maybe finish on the podium. But the safety car is coming in this lap, Frozen.
It is coming in this lap, and it's going to be on Z as he's making his way around this chicane, we'll call it, and making the right-hander coming onto the straight as these guys get ready to go back to finish out 27 laps. This corner right here, though, I'll tell you what, very scary, but so easy making it around at that speed. But here we go, back to green once again. We're going to have Ferrari Nut all over him. He's going to try to make a pass too wide as we're going to enter turn 1.
Yeah, Z not very aggressive. Oh, some contact there. A little wheel-to-wheel action that pushes Z wide. Ferrari able to make that pass. Move Z back into second, but Ferrari able to anticipate that restart pretty well, stay on his rear bumper, and time that out. Oh! He gets the curb. He's around Ferrari, not crashing.
Into the wall. I do not. Yeah. Man, oh man, unfortunate news for him. And I'll tell you, we've talked about this. I brought it up earlier that we see him up front and then always running into trouble. Not always, but consistently running into trouble throughout these races. Definitely not what you want to see at this point in the race. But Z, I know he wants the competition, but this is exactly what he wants to see. Now he's just got to battle out with his Williams teammate.
Fallen into Polish Hammer's lap, not a lap in practice, was able to make the race because of an issue with the lobby, and now all of a sudden, without qualifying, he is about to try to go worst to first challenge and take the lead away from his teammate Z, as he currently is the provisional winner with that time penalty on his Williams teammate. So this is exactly what Polish Hammer wanted.
Justin goes into pit lane. Meanwhile, we had a huge battle between Hokie Fan, Wombat, and a couple of others, but they have separated after that last corner, and we have another battle. This is going to be for Ferrari Nut and David, as Ferrari Nut makes his way around in turn one, going up through the S's, but man, very interesting for Justin to come around now, but I guess he's assuming that it's going to be green and he needs to go on in.
Yeah, it was a long stop, so might have had some damage on that race car. But, yeah, that gamble to the strategy not paying off at all. Jacob Holt, his teammate, in third position, looking at a podium, but the battle for the lead is heating up. Polish, honestly, doesn't really even have to drive that hard. He can just hang on to his teammate and win this race. I imagine for pride reasons, he would want to take the lead on the racetrack and win it that way, but for practical reasons, for pragmatism, I believe he is right where he wants to be. He could run a nice, smooth, conservative race and come home the winner tonight.
Oh, Ferrari Nut. I don't know if he had contact, but man, we had a driver into the grass, and as Ferrari Nut is trying to make his way around, this is a man that is in a hurry trying to get around the field, making his way back up there, and it looked like a little bit more contact. I don't see any damage to Ferrari Nut's wings out there, which is pretty insane considering the contact and what we saw him do earlier on into the inside wall. But here he is up to P5 already, and Polish Hammer, he's going to be in the lead.
Yeah, Polish Hammer taking the lead while we watch a draw. Oh, Z grabbing some curb, getting really loose, trying to use all the racetrack he can. And you mentioned this earlier, these curbs, very difficult. You have to know which ones to take, which ones to use, which ones you can't be aggressive with. Unlike a lot of racetracks, the curbing is pretty much the same all the way around. You kind of know, don't touch the curbs here, or man, be aggressive as you can. You can use them to help the car corner. You can use them on exit. You can use them to steer you. Here, it's a kind of a mixed bag, and you just kind of have to know and get it right to be able to make a good lap without losing lap time or losing your car. Oh no.
Hokie Fan hard into the wall after the hairpin. That was just threw me completely off guard. An absolute DNF for him. Safety car comes out again, but man, that was the hardest hit I personally have ever seen.
What happened?
They were going too wide. I believe it was Hokie Fan and Wombat too wide through that hairpin and just came off the exit. I don't know if there was contact coming out of the exit, but he just drove straight into the tire barriers, and that car just jumped back end up in the air.
Wow. That is a wild turn of events. Who this helps out, it definitely helps out Leafs Justin. It definitely helps out Ferrari Nut. Everyone coming back to pit road. Now the question is, I imagine medium's going to go back on these race cars. Will anyone gamble on the softs? We're likely going to have 2 or 3 laps here under safety car. We're only going to have 4 or 5. Well, maybe not 4 or 5. We're going to have 7 laps to go. Maybe will the softs be able to handle that? Do they have the tire life in them? I think it's a gamble worth taking if you really want to try it, but we'll see.
I don't know. That would make me nervous. I'd probably try to go on those mediums, but
David's trying it.
He is trying it. He's always on a different strategy.
I mean, I respect it. I like it.
Absolutely.
I think it's a good move. I honestly think it's worth trying. Wombat not pitting at all, so he might restart this race in front of the entire field. Again, one of our rookies out here looking to make a splash with an aggressive pit call, as he will be our leader as long as he stays out and does not come to pit road.
A couple of you guys talking about how that wreck with Hokie fan scared you. I'll tell you, I jumped. I was not expecting that, so definitely a definite surprise right there. Kind of incredible, but unfortunately a DNF for 3 of our drivers tonight. Just kind of crazy. Fireball earlier asked, did Z hit Ferrari net or did he just lose it on his own? I do believe that there was no contact, that he just got loose coming off that exit earlier on. Yeah, there you go. He got the curb.
He lost that on his own.
Hokie fan in Discord saying 2 straight weeks of Lance Stroll drives from Aston Martin.
So it seems like he is not happy with Choach Wombat, our current leader in the race.
Hokie fan has left the session. I don't know if he's out there, but if you want to get him in here to give an interview, you're more than welcome to try to do so.
We don't have a dump button for cursing, so I don't know if
it may not be safe. It may not be safe. Still under safety car. Wombat will be leading the field back to green. Polish Hammer directly behind. Jacob in 3rd, Z in 4th, and he does have that 3-second time penalty. Ferrari Nut is going to be right behind him, so these two will be battling it out, immediately going back to racing. Scarface in 6th, Sober David on those soft tire compound. He will be in 7th. And Leaf Justin, who had a rough start to the race, he's out here in 8th, but once again, another shot to try to make something happen.
He's on a little older hards, but he's at least in touch with the field now. But everyone aside from Ferrari Nut on the better tire. Ferrari going with that hard tire. Man, I would have thought you would have wanted to be on a medium at least here. And again, I really like the soft call from Silver David, but hey, these are the guys that have been making the laps, and these are the guys that are experienced on this game, and Ferrari very, very accomplished and experienced on the F1 Series of games. So I think the safe bet is to trust him here, but I think I would want to be on, at the very least, a medium tire.
Yeah, that soft tire makes me a little nervous, I will say, just because you just have to make sure that you are absolutely saving those tires. And
that baby's gonna laugh.
This is not a track that you're going to just breathe life into those tires and just know that it's going to turn out well. That's what you got to talk yourself into. But yeah, definitely a difficult situation.
Have I ever told you about the power of prayer, Frozen?
We're definitely going to need it for a couple of these guys tonight, because it is going to be a tough one. Safety car will be in as we come around. And Wombat, we're going to see how he fares.
See, very far off the... Well, he's able to make it work. Wombat with a very late... Again, unexperienced driver.
Ferrari Nut just shooting up to the inside, passes 3 cars immediately. Wombat takes it wide. Ferrari Nut immediately to the lead.
We have a big wreck.
Scarface involved. Jacob looks like he was affected by this. Justin gonna gain 2 spots. What did you see, Jordan?
Oh, look, Wombat missed turn 1, really got in there deep. Oh, someone else, it's Z. Z has gone wide somewhere. He is falling back. He is back in 7th place. So once again, wildness happened, but that all started with Wombat unsure of where to go. We have another battle for the lead. I can't...
There's so much going on. Polish Hammer to the lead. Ferrari Nut is going to be in second. I have a feeling a couple of these drivers are just going to be absolutely devastated from some of this damage that they have incurred. But man, Jacob in 6th, Z in 7th, and Ferrari Nut still trying to hold on to Polish. We're going to see if he can make his way up as we are in Sector 3, coming around to the final couple of corners and getting ready to hit that kink. And we'll hit the straight, and we know what that means. That straight, if close enough, is going to mean another change for the lead.
Yeah, things have sort of sorted themselves out. Going back to that restart, Wombat, again, inexperienced, a rookie with this series, maybe with this game, I'm not really sure, but unsure of where to restart the race. Obviously waited until the very last second. That caused the entire field to stack up. Ferrari Nut was able to anticipate it past the entire field almost, or the entirety of the drivers behind him. Then Wombat goes wide into the first corner, or into the first corner, goes over the rumble strips, starts to come back on the racetrack, gets a little bit loose, comes down into Jacob. That causes Jacob to lose it, and Scarface had nowhere to go and plowed into the McLaren. So that is what happened there from what I saw. Just a wild chain of events.
Wombat pulls over. Z46 makes his way up to P4. We have a couple of teammates, McLaren out here, Justin and Jacob going side by side. This is going to be for P6. So still a lot of racing going on. Ferrari Nut looks like he is falling back a little bit from Polish Hammer. Not sure if he's just trying to save up or if his car is just not handling the way he's hoping. But Sober David, how about that? He has moved up quite a bit through all the chaos on that restart as we're on lap 21 of 27.
Yeah, the chaos of the restart. I want to say it's because of the soft tires, but I think you're correct. Just the wildness. And again, Ferrari on that hard, not as much pace in that tire as the medium. So I wonder if maybe he's kicking himself for that decision, especially if it doesn't start to pay dividends as the laps tick off, as the wear increases on both of these race cars. Will the hard tire actually be to his benefit? So far, it's been to his detriment as Polish Hammer has been able to pull away.
Z trying to make his way around Sober David, just extremely close. You can see Z is just in a hurry trying to make his way around, trying to get back up into podium. I'm not sure he's going to be able to make his way up into second. Just taking things, he just looks a little unsteady currently, trying to get back that time that he has lost from earlier incident. David is going to be P4. What do you see, Jordan?
Oh, some contact in the back. Scarface and Wombat going wheel to wheel. There is just an absolute wad of cars here in the back half of the field, 5th through 8th, and it's kind of sorted itself out now. But Wombat, I think, on those old tires, starting to feel the effects of that as he is getting an education on falling through the field here. But Leaf Justin doing everything he can to get around him. But Z with a nice rebound to get back for 3rd. He was in 7th like a lap and a half ago. So to get back to the 3rd, again, all of the chaos that has happened. Didn't even get to talk about Sober David sticking his right side tire in the grass and allowing me to make that pass. So
we need to catch our breath. I mean, this is absolutely intense. We had a crazy last race, the season opener. This race is turning out to be just as wild, and no rain. But I'll tell you what, I think, again, anything that could happen has indeed happened. But Sober David holding out that 4th with those soft tires. I'm a little concerned about these final few laps as we are coming up here. Those soft tires, he's got to make them last, and I think we might see him lose a couple of more spots. But Polish Hammer, starting dead last, has made his way up to the lead. I know he wanted that win last race, and with the upcoming changes to traction control, I know he really wants this win here tonight. Gareth, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. He says, comms are fantastic. Lovely job. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the race. It has just been absolutely wild tonight. Our two Williams teammates out here on those medium tires. Ferrari in the middle with the hard compound. Man, I'm kind of curious if we can get Z back up here. Something has to happen, though, and it's Z that's going to have the fastest lap. That tells you how much he is trying to make his way up here. He just cannot afford a mistake. We saw a lot of those from him last season. I feel like so far he has cleaned it up this season. He has proven that with his win last race for the season opener. Hopefully he can keep it clean to the finish. He does have a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunately, Sober David is past those 3 seconds. He will not, if that race ends now, he will not receive that third position.
Yeah, both of the McLarens have been able to make a pass. Leaf Justin has gotten around Choach Wombat. Jacob has gotten around Scarface, who almost went through the beach. Meanwhile, Sober David has had an issue. He has gone off track. He has fallen back all the way to 6th now as both the McLaren and the Red Bull get around him. Not sure if he has any damage, but it looks like I think those tires are gone. I think the gamble might be coming back to bite him here.
Yeah, I have a feeling. It's just this is too much of a technical, difficult track, especially on those tires, to try to make softs last that long. What lap was that? 18 or 19 that they were coming back? I could be a little off, but that just seems too many laps to try to make those softs last out there.
It'll be 7 laps on those tires. I think it was 18 when he put them on. I think
right.
It was about 20 or so when they went green. Or there might have been 19. I don't know. It was one of those. So
right.
He only has a handful of hard laps on, but again, with the half race length that accelerates the tire wear as well, and so I think that might be. I guess it just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of life in those soft tires here at Suzuka.
What a turnaround for Polish Hammer, who said he could not make the race whatsoever, and then as soon as the race was about to begin, we actually delayed it so that he could join. Was on his way home, gets in here, starts last. We see him up in the front with just 3 laps to go. We're coming up to lap 26. So, I'm not sure that he was expecting this. I know he will be extremely happy if he can hold on to this lead and get that win, but Ferrari Nut looks like he might be closing that gap, Jordan.
Just maybe so slightly, but not close enough yet for DRS. He's really working hard, using a lot of the curb there. Even the grass might have gotten it to within a second in the detection zone. I think he might have. So he will have DRS through this corner, really working hard, really trying to do everything he can. I believe the wing goes down. Nope, maybe not. I don't think so. Maybe it did. He's gaining a lot of time. Maybe that's just slipstream. I don't know. But either way, they go through the first little complex of corners as they head down into the S's. Ferrari Nut now within 7/10. So since you said that, he has gained 3/10 of a second. Now 4. He is really hooked up and driving.
Yeah, heading into the Dunlop curve. Making his way around, definitely closing that gap up. Meanwhile, Z is about 9 seconds back. So no pressure from behind for Ferrari Nut. He just has to worry about catching up to Polish Hammer. It is starting to be a little consistent right here. We see that 0.6, 0.7 behind. We're on lap 26 of 27. Polish has a lot to worry about. He has to nail his corners, every single one of them, and he has to make sure that Ferrari Nut is not going to catch him. Meanwhile, with all the chaos on that restart, I'm kind of curious if we're going to have a couple of drivers unhappy with Wombat after that one.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens there, but Ferrari Nut is there. 3/10. He is going to be on his rear end. He's going to have a chance at a dive as they head down into the chicane. Will he have a chance to do it? Polish Hammer with a defensive line. Ferrari going to follow him through, but he will have DRS as they come off of the final corner to take the white flag. 1 lap to go as they cross the line here, and it will be side by side when they go into turn 1.
Here he goes down low. We're going to see these guys. He is able to make the pass going into turn 1. absolutely phenomenal move. Ferrari Nut to the lead on the final lap. Polish Hammer is just going to have to use everything he can to stay within reach and try to gain back that lead. But man, it is going to be extremely close on this final lap coming to the checkered.
Yeah, Ferrari not getting great tire wear. The hard's really working for him now. That was the right call. I was skeptical of it. I was wrong. Ferrari not able to take the lead. Polish Hammer tried the cross, got super loose, not able to do it, but he is still there. He is still within. Oh, they
Wow.
make contact. They make contact. Polish Hammer uses the green kick machine to stop in the hairpin. They keep going.
He did have the fastest sector. And that last sector, Polish gets loose on that curb, still holds on to it. It looks like he gained a little bit of time. However, that is going to fall just a bit currently. This is going to come down to the final couple of seconds. He really has to nail these final couple of corners in order to make any type of move. But as soon as we come around this, it is over and Ferrari Nut will be a winner unless Polish Hammer can make his way around. He is unable to do so. Ferrari Nut is going to win this race here tonight. Polish Hammer in second. Z46 coming around the final corner. He's going to round out the podium.
Yeah, Scarface and Jacob on top of each other here, heading through the chicane. Scarface unable to make that pass.
Great drive by him. A lot of these drivers had a roller coaster of a race trying to make their way back through the field after a little bit of chaos on these restarts. But man, Jacob in fourth, Scarface in fifth, Z46, even with that 3 seconds, did a great job keeping the guys behind him. He's going to finish out on that podium after last week's win.
David in sixth on the softs, had a nice run at the beginning. It kind of fell away from him at the end. Leafs Justin finishing in seventh, and Wombat, who took the massive gamble and was the center of some craziness on the restart. He ended up falling back to eighth. That will still be a point stay for him, as he was the last finishing driver of our 11 in the field.
I cannot invite him. Why is it not letting me invite him? Can you get Polish Hammer in here? It just keeps going in a roundabout way. I can't get him in.
I will do what I can, but I make no promises.
We invited Ferrari Nut, our winner here tonight. We invited him into the party, but you see him celebrating. Crazy win. It just ran into trouble. We'll have to talk to him about what happened out there. Just a bad curb, but let's see if we can get him in here. Polish Hammer in second, Z46 in third. Let's see if we can invite him this way. Are you having any luck? There we go. I can invite him through this.
Invites, but no one is responding.
They may be having a little bit of a discussion, I think.
Yep, it makes me sad.
Here comes Polish Hammer, and while we're waiting for these guys, here we go. We got Z, and do we have a Ferrari Nut? I'll send him one more invite just for good measure, and it will not let me, so there's that. All right, let's go ahead and get Mr. Polish Hammer, Jordan. We'll give him an interview.
All right, Polish Hammer, coming in ice cold, starting the race in last. Attempted the worst to first challenge, not by desire, but just by what happened tonight. Got lucky with the lobby needing to be reset, and had a great first lap, able to work your way through the field, and then from there battling for the lead for pretty much the majority of the night. Talk about your race and what more you needed there to be able to hold on to the lead as Ferrari was catching you and ultimately able to pass you.
What I needed was for this was for this race to be just 1 lap shorter, but that would have been very helpful. But yeah, obviously I wasn't expecting to race. EA actually helped me out for once in my life and killed the lobby, so I was able to say like, hey, you guys just wanna wait up for me? Like, I'm right down the road, and they were just like, yeah, we'll wait till 8:40. I was like, oh, you guys are beautiful. So thank you to them for doing that so I could actually race. But was a fun race. Starting last was actually a lot more fun than I thought it'd be because I had a really, really, really good start and basically just shot out of a cannon and passed like 3 cars by turn 1. So that was kind of fun. Um, and yeah, I actually had a lot of fun racing tonight. It was a good race.
We'll talk about some of those the events that happened out there. The final restart really jumbled things up there, allowed Ferrari to make a make up pretty much every position there. Be able to get back around him. Uh just what did you need more from the tires? Was it choosing the mediums over the hards? Was it just maybe something you could go back and change with the driving? What was it there that maybe could have helped those tires hang on just a lap longer?
Uh, I was pushing it a little to try and get away from Ferrari as best I could. Maybe I could have saved them a little more, but at the same time, I, I'm gonna have to see the replay because to this very moment, I don't know how he did not get a singular illegal overtake. I don't know how he waited to overtake. It was literally Kyle Busch of F1. Like I don't understand how he did that and how he actually got away with it. But I mean, fair enough. Um, I think if he didn't get that restart, I might have pulled enough of a gap. But is what it is, you know.
Well, that is Polish Hammer coming home second place on a night where he wasn't even going to be able to race with us. Ends with a podium for him. Back to you, Frozen.
All right, we're going to bring it over to our winner, Ferrari Nut. And I'll tell you what, he's had another very interesting race. What a roller coaster of a ride. Take us through what happened earlier on when we saw you, what it looked like. You grabbed a curb and kind of sent you around and you had to work your way back up through.
Yeah, just maybe a little bit of curb, maybe a little bit too much over exuberance on the throttle on cold hard tires. They don't like being cold at all on hard tires, especially around here. They're not very grippy, so and it is what it is. But yeah, was interesting to drive back through the field. David was actually very hard to overtake there right off the rip on that. So yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, top to the bottom and back to the top.
Speaking of back to the top under that final restart, take us through your strategy on how you took it to the inside, passing up pretty much every car and immediately to the lead. Did you think you were going to be able to pull that off?
No, that actually was not intentional. It was more due to Z kind of, I guess, either intentionally or unintentionally backing us up. He was, I think, trying to do the same thing, but just mistimed it ever so slightly. So, his misfortune on that worked out for me, and then just was pretty much okay. Well, I know we're 3 wide going in here, but they're gonna blink.
And we were watching you guys go around those corners, and it seemed like there was a little bit of contact between you and a couple other drivers. Do you think that you were maybe braking earlier? What was it? Just different braking points, or how was it going through those corners with that much pressure?
Well, not really so much pressure. It's just like, okay, where am I going to have to go to get by these guys as efficiently as possible? And to be honest, a lot of them were surprisingly quick in the straight line. I think maybe they were running a little bit too little downforce for their maybe abilities and the rest of their setups. I can get away with a little more typically just by driving style, but in the straight, actually, I think it was Wombat. He was actually either as quick or slightly quicker than me in the straight there. So that was interesting. I was like, okay, that's not going to be as easy as I figured. So he did thankfully let me buy into the chicane, which, well, it wasn't the smoothest let by we've ever done, but it is what it is. Everybody got by. Everybody still had everything attached, so no harm, no foul, or anything there.
All right. Well, we
Definitely got helped out by that second safety car. I was maybe gonna catch Jacob for third at best.
Yeah, it definitely shook things up a bit and helped a few drivers out there. But man, what a race. I think this has been the most chaotic start to a season that I've ever seen. Very fun to watch, but I can imagine on track just a little scary at times, but man, really, really fun. You had a great win tonight, and it was great seeing you drive up through the field and making your way up to the win.
Yeah, got to be around some of these guys that maybe don't get to stick too close to me very often. So maybe they, hopefully they maybe noticed some things and might have learned a couple things.
All right, Jordan, let's take it over to Z, last week's winner, and he's on podium.
Oh. All right, here was Z. A wild race for you as well, up and down the elevator on the running order. Had to manage a penalty. Had to fight off, several different drivers. Had a heck of a battle with Ferrari. Had battles with your teammate. Just a wild night for you. Talk about how it ended there. What maybe you needed to go differently for you to be able to come out the victor tonight, because you definitely seemed to have the pace.
There we go. Sorry, my mic wasn't working. Yeah, just really frustrating for the race all over. I had no confidence in the rear of the car through the entire phase of the race. It was fine in quali, but once the race came around, it was just unstable as ever. It's just something I'm going to have to get used to. I've switched off, especially in that second half, switching off the traction control wasn't a help. But I got it locked back in after that first little incident. Grabbed a little bit of curb after that second safety car restart, where you don't need to be grabbing curb, and paid for it pretty bad. But yeah, just a few setup issues I need to tweak for next week, and should be back to the front with a confident car.
Yeah, talk about that. At one moment you're running in second or third, I guess, and then the next you were in seventh, and then blinked again, and you were back up to third. What was that sequence like for you? At 1 minute you kind of threw away a great finish, and then the next you immediately managed to grab it back.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I wasn't sure how the pace would be after that spin, because I demolished the rear tires with that, because I was about full opposite lock and on the gravel for a while. But actually car felt reasonable in that third stint, I guess, after the second safety car. And I was able to trust myself on the throttle a little bit more, and was able to set up some overtakes pretty easily. So yeah, if the entire race had gone like that last stint, I think it would have gone a little differently. But can't control everything, and I made some mistakes I didn't need to. So
in spite of those mistakes, comes home with a podium finish, another double podium for a double podium this time for Williams. The finishes matching how they ran. Easy for me to say. Back to you, Frozen.
All right, well, that's it for us tonight. Another wild race. Next week, we are headed to Bahrain, so it should be another great race. I'm excited for it, and these drivers are proving that every race is just going to be very fun and exciting. We will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It is going to be Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys take it easy.